celebration of Spartan Metric Higher Secondary School. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins scholarships and championships. This is Spartan Matriculation School for you. We are delighted and grateful to see you all on this happy occasion. Prayer is the key that unlocks all the storehouses of God's infinite grace and power. Let us rise with a prayerful heart for the opening prayer song.
Welcome, Holy Spirit. We are in your presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of me. You are the living water, never drying fountain, comforter and counselor, take complete control. Welcome, Holy Spirit. We are in your presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of me.
Please be seated.
I now call upon our head girl, Rihanna Elsa Ajit of Standard 12, to welcome the gathering.
Psalm 118 verse 24 says, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Distinguished Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Doraisam Raju Sir, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Mrs. Sarah Alexander, our correspondent and principal, who makes every program of Spartan remarkable, Headmaster Mr. Joseph Dandrat Sir, our guest of honor, the younger son of Honorable Justice Doraisam Raju's son, Advocate R. Bharanidharan Sir, and all the teachers who work untiringly, loving parents and my dear friends. I'm extremely delighted and excited to welcome you all to this joyful and cheerful evening, an evening God has blessed us with to celebrate our institution's much awaited event, the annual day. An event that showcases appreciation, thoughtfulness, talent, fun, and a gratitude to the Lord God Almighty. I am much honored to introduce our chief guest for the day, Honorable Justice Doraisam Raju, Judge, Supreme Court of India, obtained his degree in Bachelor of Arts and in 1961 did his degree, BL degree in the law from the Madras University. As an advocate from the beginning, he worked in the chambers of the then government pleaders and assisted advocate generals of the state from time to time in the High Court. He was the standing counsel for various public institutions and undertakings like Tamil Nadu Textbook Society, Tamil Nadu Tourism Development Corporation, Andhra Pradesh State Road Corporation, and Food Development Corporation, to name a few. He was designated as senior advocate by the Madras High Court, elevated and sworn into as Judge, Madras High Court, and appointed Chairman, Advisory Board, Coffee Posa, and appointed Chairman, Advisory Board, under Prevention of Black Marketing and Maintenance of Supplies of Essential Commodities Act. In 1998, he was notified as the Executive Chairman, Legal Services Authority for the Union Territory of Pondicherry. In July 1998, he was appointed and sworn in as Chief Guest, Himachal Pradesh High Court, Shimla. And on January 28, 2000, our dear Chief Guest was appointed and sworn into as Judge of the Supreme Court of India. Truly an honor to have such an honorable person as our Chief Guest today. Our guest of honor, the younger son of Honorable Justice Dorai Samuraju Sir, Advocate R. Bharanidharan, joined the office of Sri R. Krishnamurti, Senior Advocate and the Advocate General, Government of India. He assisted him in all matters defending the state of Tamil Nadu since 2004. He has been practicing independently along with Sri R. Karthikeyan, his brother, and have also conducted cases on the writ jurisdiction leading to service, direct and indirect taxation and education, and on the civil and original side of the Madras High Court. He is presently the panel advocate for Reliance Industries Limited and Reliance Jio Infocom Limited in the Madras High Court. Retainer for TVS Motors Limited, Hosur, retainer for Kaveri Hospitals, and is also appointed as the Standing Counsel for the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission and Standing Counsel for most of the temples in South India. So, we are so happy that you could be part of our celebration today. The reason behind today's celebration is the success of this institution for the past years, and I'm extremely grateful to everyone who has played a big or small role. Words cannot express my appreciation for the efforts for today's performers. I had goosebumps while watching them practice. The level of perfection that we are going to witness on the stage today is the juice of daily grinding and the hustle of the last few days. Thank you for being with us, and God bless.
Thank you, Rihanna. Our dear headmaster, Mr. Joseph Dhanraj, will now give the annual report.
2023-24 to annual day 2024 to 2025. Learning gives creativity, creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides knowledge, knowledge makes you great. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As the headmaster, I'm extremely happy to extend a warm welcome to all of you on the occasion of the 42nd annual day celebration of this prestigious school. I extend a very special welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Justice Dorai Samiraju, Honorable Judge, Supreme Court of India, dignitaries on the dais, special invitees, and dear parents. Spartan matriculation is meticulously striving to achieve the highest standards by encouraging students to bring out the best through various activities and by providing multiple opportunities within and beyond the school. Our management and teachers are truly grateful to all the valuable appreciations and support extended by our wonderful parents. We are very happy to announce that our beloved and dynamic correspondent, Mrs. Sarah Alexander, has received the National Award by Education India for the year 2024 for her wonderful years of service in the field of education. Expressing my gratitude to God Almighty for the abundant blessings and guidance that navigate the destiny of the Spartans for another year. I am excited to present the annual report covering the period from Annual Day 2023-24 to Annual Day 2024-2025. I am proud to inform you that Spartan is now in its 42nd year of serving the nation through education. Academics. In the SSLC board examination conducted in March 2024, a total of 155 students appeared and successfully completed with distinction. Jai Sarita S. has brought immense pride to our institution with our outstanding accomplishment, securing an impressive score of 491 out of 500 in the board exam. Furthermore, we take pride in announcing that we had 4 students who scored centum in maths, 2 in social science, 5 secured 99 in science, 1 in English, and 1 scoring 98 in Tamil. In the higher secondary board examination, a total of 144 students took part, with 93 students achieving a distinction. Joanne Rose Theophil claimed the top position by scoring 588 out of 600. We had 3 centums in French, 4 centums in computer science, 2 centums in commerce, 2 centums in economics, 2 centums in computer application. 4 students scored 99 in maths, 2 scored in 99 in accountancy, and 1 scored 99 in chemistry. Co-curricular activities. The Spartan matriculation adheres to a cohesive and extensive curriculum that provides abundant opportunities for our students. This approach aims to instill confidence in them as they ascend the educational ladder, actively engaging them in both formative and summative assessments, including related projects, tests, and exams. Scouts and Guides. The Cubs and Bulbuls, as well as the Scouts and Guides, exhibit strong dedication within Spartan School. Students actively engage in activities like hiking, camps, competitions, and cooking contests organized in this very campus. 3 guides from our school appeared for Rajya Purashkar state level award, and we are waiting for the results. Social media. Our Insta handle has been a runaway hit from day one, with people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari inquiring about our school and admission process. Outdoor educational visits. Regarding outdoor educational tours, students from Standard 1 to 5 visited the Police Museum. Standard 6 to 12 enjoyed a trip to Queensland Amusement Park. Additionally, Standards 9 to 12 boys and girls embarked on a tour for excursion to Mysore in August 2024. Extracurricular activities. Spartan Metric is recognized as an activity-centric school, currently providing a range of activities including karate, roller skating, instrumental music, band, choir, public speaking, scouts and guides, drawing, painting, and Western dance. Inter and intra-school activities. Olympiad examinations were conducted in science, maths, English, computer science, general knowledge, and sports. As a part of the Environment Week, our school Eco Club emphasized on belief in yourself. To create awareness on cleanliness, our students went to the Marina Beach and took part in the cleanliness campaign. Our students also took part in many inter-school cultural competitions at all levels and won prizes and overall championship in almost all schools. To name a few, Anita Methodist, Sethu Bhaskara, Veltech, Valliammal, Union Christian Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Mark Gregorius College of Arts and Science, Madras Christian College, and Madras Medical Mission. Provident Fund and Vigilance Department conducted painting and elocution competition commemorating Vigilance Awareness Week on 5th November 2024. Cash awards and certificates were given to the winners. Happy Streets in campus with Times of India, Chennai's largest and most vibrant People's Carnival was celebrated on 23rd November 2024 at our school. The students enjoyed activities like magic show, handwriting workshop, tug of war, calligraphy workshop, balloon shooting, and painting competitions. Congratulations, children, for having kept our flag flying high. Sports and games. Spartan Matriculation eagerly anticipated annual athletic meet took place on January 10th, 2025, and we express our gratitude to God for its resounding success. The best sports personality for the year 2024-25 is Chevalier Orion Babu of 11C. The overall house championship trophy was won by Topaz House. Appreciations of the special winners. At the zonal level competitions, our students won 25 gold, 30 silver, and 10 bronze medals. At the district level, our students won 15 gold, 12 silver, and 12 bronze medals. At the state level, we won 5 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze medal. At the national level, we won 1 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze medals. In addition to the honors mentioned above, our children also brought us 7 gold, 18 silver, and 1 bronze medal in karate, chess, skating, swimming, athletic events, and other sporting activities. Children of our school represented Tamil Nadu state at the national level in various sports activities. Community service. In order to create awareness about our obligation to the underprivileged, our children in groups, accompanied by the staff, regularly visited 12 homes in and around Chennai. Apart from cash and essentials, cultural activities and games were also organized. Our sincere gratitude to every parent and students for the unstinted support provided during our carnivals. Every year, the entire carnival proceeds are given for charity. Rededication. As we reminisce over the past 42 years with a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment, we consider your children as priceless treasures handed over to our care. We recommit ourselves to groom them into responsible youth with blemishless character, loads of self-confidence, a positive attitude, self-control as an offshoot of discipline, and most importantly, unwavering faith in God. May He bless us in all that we do. Finally, I want to remind each of you parents at Spartan, we do not prepare your children for life. Spartan is their life. We earnestly ask for every support as we provide the foundation for a vibrant and enriching journey for your children. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
All our events are centered on a distinctive theme. Now, we unleash the theme for the day, kindness.
Gratitude is the powerful catalyst for happiness. It's a spark that lights the fire of joy in your soul, says Amy Collett. I now call upon the following students who are getting the general proficiency and academic excellence.
For LKGA, we have Gabriel Thomas. LKGB, Vihan CR. LKGC, Shamyutta. LKGD, Jessica Sharon. UKGA, Bianca Heather. UKGB, Sean Rijo S. UKGC, Ellen Maria Jijosh. UKGD, Jerusha Sharon. 1A, Sharon H. 1B, Shrinesh R. 1C, Sudiksha M. 1D, Jonathan Samuel. 2A, Edwin Raj. 2B, Danish D. 2C, Sharon Angelina. And 2D, Zia Fatima.
For 3A, we have Sujit D. 3B, Ajay Krishna P. 3C, Asra Tazeen R. 3D, Aisha Madiha, yes. 4A, Emil Jaden J. 4B, Danupriya B. 4C, Magimita, yes. 4D, Mohammed Ishaq. 5A, Rasil Rahman R. 5B, Jashwin Singh J. 5C, Selina Agnes J. 5D, Akshaya Yes M. 6th, Rakshit B. 7th, Isai Priya B. And for 8th, Sudarshan A. 9th, Mohammed Suhail N. And for 11th, we have Lakshanika.
Students receiving for academic excellence. For LKGA, we have Ahana RJ, LKGB, Patrick Matthew, LKGC, Ria Fedora, LKGD, Janisha Pearl, UKGA, Sinan Samuel, UKGB, Gilchrist Prayson, UKGC, Satvika R, UKGD, Angelina Sharon, 1A, Gurucharan B, 1B, Ashlyn Phoebe, 1C, Griffin Shadrach V, 1D, Ofni Shabin, 2A, Harshan I, 2B, Anna Sophia Nelsi, 2C, Manoj Dev, and 2D, Justice Daniel.
For 3A, we have Gyandeep GM, 3B, Sohit Kavin T, 3C, John Joshua J, 3D, Sharuka M, 4A, Felix Kamal, 4B, Suhana Fatima Khan F, 4C, Madhushri Ratna C, 4D, Sam Brightson A, 5A, Jotham Daniel B, 5B, Liana Jessie M, 5C, Divina DP, 5D, Jessica Lawrence H, 6th, Siona Blessy, 7th, Titus Kamal, 8th, Dia Annette DP, and for 9th, we have Genevieve V.
For standards 10 and above, and some special awards for deserving students and members of the staff. Here we go with the scholarships.
P.J. Thomas Memorial Scholarship instituted by our founder principal, Mrs. Anna Jacob, to honor her father's memory for the student scoring the highest marks in mathematics in Standard 10 is annexed by Jai Sarita S, Sharika M, and Kavin Kavya KC. Founder Scholarship instituted by the management to honor our founder, Mrs. Anna Jacob, for the aggregate top scorer in Standard 10 board exam goes to Jai Sarita, yes. Elizabeth Thomas Memorial Scholarship instituted by a correspondent, Mrs. Sarah Alexander, to the students securing the highest marks in computer science in Standard 11 annual examination is Nadia D, Tanavidya S, and Yuvaraj P.S. Elizabeth Thomas Memorial Scholarship for the highest scorer in computer science in Standard 12 board exam goes to Divya Priya yes, Shiva Ranjani yes, Shirley Dawkins and Jay Tirthi. Shriram Memorial Award to the most outstanding sports person goes to Shavilya Orion Babu. Koshi Puthikud Memorial Scholarship for the aggregate top scorer in the higher secondary board exam donated by a late correspondent Jacob Koshi, founder correspondent, goes to Joanne Rose Theopol. Sarama Koshi Memorial Scholarship to the top scorer in Standard 11 annual examination goes to Sriram G. That brings us to the end of Merit Scholarship for Standard 10 to 12.
Now, the awards for scoring centums. May I request the centum scorer students and teachers responsible to come together to collect the award. Teacher responsible for centum marks in French, Standard 12, Mr. Deva Prashant with 3 centums in French. Standard 12, centum scorers in board exam in French are Abhirami L, Sunita Anand, and Joanne Rose Theopol. Teacher responsible for centum marks in computer science, Standard 12, goes to Mrs. Saroja with 4 centums in computer science. Standard 12, centum scorers in board exam in computer science are Divya Priya S, S. Shivaranjani, E. Shirley Dawkins, and Jay Tirthi. Teacher responsible for centum marks in commerce, Standard 12, Mrs. Arul Christie with 2 centums in commerce. Standard 12, centum scorers in board exam in commerce are Joanne Rose Theopol and S. Tanushri. Teacher responsible for centum marks in economics, Standard 12, Mrs. Shanti Victor with 2 centums in economics. Standard 12, centum scorers in board exam in economics are Joanne Rose Theopol and Harini G. Teacher responsible for centum marks in computer applications, Standard 12, Mrs. Saroja with 2 centums in computer applications. Standard 12, centum scorers in board exam in computer applications are Shri Kajol, Navaprasad. Teachers responsible for centum marks in math, Standard 10, Mr. Shamugam with 2 centums and Mrs. Helen Sonia with 2 centums. Standard 10, centum scorers in board exam in Maths are J. Sarita S., Sharika and Kavan Kavya. Teachers responsible for centum marks in social science, standard 10. Mrs. Anita with 2 centums in social science and Mrs. Shanti Victor with 2 centums in social science. Standard 10, centum scorer in board exam in social science is Sagitya V.L. Loyalty is a testament to dedication and unwavering commitment. Today, we honor our teachers who have devoted years of service to Spartan matriculation, shaping young minds with passion and care.
Special incentives for 100% attendance and punctuality. Mr. Joseph Dandra, G.A., Mrs. D. Beulah, Mrs. Bindu Bijoy, Mrs. Uma Maheshwari, Mrs. Felicita J.S., Mr. Lalit Kumar, Mr. Binu Jacob, Mrs. Kanagamani C. Long Service Awards. On completion of 25 years, we have Mr. Nellayappan M. and Mrs. Chandra A. On completion of 20 years, we have Mrs. Uma Maheshwari, Mrs. Anu Rarichan, and Mrs. Binsi John. On completion of 15 years, we have Mrs. Swarna Lakshmi S., Mrs. A. Indra.
And it's my privilege to announce the best teacher of this year. I really don't know how we can give it to one because all my teachers are fantastic, but based on their seniority and their diligence to the cause of education, give it up for Tilakavadi ma'am.
Up next, we present the Gratitude to Teachers Award, a heartfelt tribute to the incredible educators who inspire, guide, and shape our journey with their unwavering dedication and care.
We have Shanti Shanmugam ma'am.
Okay, these are teachers who've been with us for less than 30 years, 20 to 30 years. Give it up for these wonderful teachers. A small cash prize of rupees 20,000 to everyone. That really doesn't matter, but to say a thank you for having been with us, held our hand through this journey is immense. Thank you.
Mrs. Punitavati R, Mrs. Anita B, Mrs. Felicita J.S., Mr. Shaktivel N, Mrs. Chandra A, Mr. Nellayapan M, Mrs. Julia Rexy Jairani M, Mrs. Sridevi, Mrs. Beulah D, Mrs. Mercy George, Mrs. Vandana N, Mrs. Ruth Wani Robin Paul, Mrs. Bincy John, Mrs. Anurarichan and Mrs. Uma Maheshwari. Yes. Up to 20 years, we have Mrs. V. Saroja, Mr. A. N. Kalidasan, Mrs. J. Sophia Lissy, Mrs. A. Priscilla, Mrs. P. Jayanti, Mrs. Bindu Bijoy, Mrs. Arul Christie Kalpana, Mrs. Tilagavadi, Mrs. Carolyn Lima Rose, Mrs. S. Swarna Lakshmi. Up to 15 years, we have Mrs. A. Jasper Sylvia, Mrs. Ambali, Mrs. Shanti Victor D, Mrs. Ananda Prabha, Mrs. Perachi Selvi, Mr. J. Sustains Willington, Mrs. Jayashree K, Mrs. Vijayashree N, Mrs. Pushpalata, Mr. Kumara Perumal, Mrs. Mary Shakila, and Mrs. Sudha G. Abdinu Jacob, Mr. Aaron Samuel D, Mr. B.J. Karunakaran, Mrs. Suganya S, Mr. Vijay Kumar N, Mrs. M. Teresa, Mrs. Smita Naya M, Mr. Vijay Kumar N, Mr. Joseph Dandraj, Mr. Lalit Kumar S, Mrs. Christina Rajaselvi G, Mrs. Kanagamani, Mrs. Geeta S, Mr. Sharat Kumar R, Mr. Shanmugam V N, Mrs. Malati K, Mrs. Malati P, Mr. Ilengo, Mrs. Daphne Trifney, and Mrs. Regita. Up to 5 years, we have Mrs. Rekha, Mrs. Kamachi, Mrs. Anita, Miss Evelyn Samuel, Miss Flenda Maria Joseph, Mrs. Kristlyn Priya, Mrs. Lippy Mole Joel, Mrs. Beena Vinod, Mrs. Padmavati, Mrs. Jennifer, Mrs. Angel, Mrs. Shamla Gauri, Mrs. Roslyn, Mrs. Sridevi, Mrs. Evangelina Rachel, Miss J. Helen Sonia, Mrs. Flora, and Mr. Santosh Kumar. For 1 year, we have Mrs. Angel Jennifer, Mrs. Tarani, Mrs. Abila, Mrs. Catherine, Mrs. Femila, Mrs. Ruth, Mr. Augustine, Mrs. Juliet Christina, and Mrs. Priya, and Mrs. Rekha Karur. That comes to the end of the prize distribution.